You know, as I woke up from a deep slumber under the Australian sky, I slowly picked myself up, I drank a can of VB, I gave me pet Wombat Jimbo a cheeky belly rub, and I couldn't stop thinking about the most controversial question. Are chicken schnitzels just a large version of chicken nuggets? Question mark? But for the time being, we'll put my little predicament to the side and focus on some other important questions. And my friends, that's what this video is about. Me answering the most common goalkeeping questions. I have to do a little disclaimer, I've not taken a look at any of the questions. I'm going in blindsided here. I might see some weird shit, but I'm expecting questions about save assistant, the camera settings that I use, what the best controls are for goalkeeping, how to dive, whether to use buttons when you're diving, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just gonna keep this video chill. I'm gonna answer the questions, and whatever I answer, I'll include some 11v11 comp proof. To prove to you what I'm saying, it isn't a load of rubbish. This one comes from Fraser Price 21, and he's saying that he's getting a lot of bad animations. Number one, is my timing correct, and am I diving at the right time? I've always mentioned diving is three things: your auto position, your left stick, and then your right stick. But since he's talking specifically diving, I'm gonna jump straight to the right stick part. And to answer your question about when to dive, your right stick should be moved literally as soon as he connects with the ball. You don't want to be diving before he shoots, and you don't want to be diving too late. I've stated before that just like in 2K22, when you hit the perfect shot, you green it, and it's a perfect release, you make it 100% of the time. Think of that, but in FIFA terms. If you dive with your right stick as soon as he connects with the ball, that's your green timer. You don't want to be doing it too early or late, otherwise you'll get punished. Number two, is holding A the correct thing to do, or should I be using the right stick to dive? This question in particular, I don't know who started the whole use your buttons to dive thingy. I have no clue where it came from. Maybe someone can tell me. But this is a straight no. This is a madman's must and never do. Never use buttons like A or X or B or square. Make sure to use the three things that I mentioned earlier. I'll link the video in my description. Question number three, should I use both my left stick and my right stick to dive instead of just the right stick? If you take a look at this clip here, I think this perfectly sums it up. Literally, as the opponent is swinging for the ball, that's when you need to use your left stick and take a slight step to the left or the right. And then obviously, by the time you take that step, your opponent's going to connect with the ball. And when he connects with the ball, like I said earlier, that's when you use your right stick. So in essence, yes, you use both sticks. Number four, should I be letting go of LB as I dive? And obviously, LB is L1 on PS5. And the simple answer to that is yes. The way I dive with your auto position, your left stick, and then your right stick, you let go of your LB, which is your L1 on PS5, and then you move your left stick slightly into that direction, and then you dive with your right stick. So obviously, you are letting go of LB or L1 when you dive. The next question comes from Ferruccio Nika. I butchered that so hard, I'm sorry. Pro or default camera? Hold on, I gotta take a look. Okay, I read that wrong, my bad. I think what you're trying to say is whether to use the actual camera called default, not just the default settings. And what I use is the Pro camera. I've used it since FIFA 15. It's just what I'm comfortable with. I know a lot of people have lag issues. Let me know down below if you do. It's like the frame drops are capped at 30 or something for some people. But I don't know, for me, it just works. It's the best camera. I don't see how people can run default. You just don't see the game properly. With the Pro camera, you see everything relatively good. You have an actual perspective of what's going on in front of you. For me, there's no slow or laggy frame rates, and it's what I'm most comfortable with, and I highly suggest that you use Pro as well. How do you play corners and crosses, holding L1 or manually? That's a good question. I'm gonna talk specifically corners here. I'll just leave crosses in general for another video. I know a lot of Pro goalkeepers that rush straight out of their box whenever they cross the ball. For example, in corners, if a person crosses the ball literally to the penalty line, they're just there. And on the other hand, there's goalkeepers that just don't move outside of their 6-yard box at all. They just hold L1 on corners. And for me, I do a bit of both. Yeah, I haven't saved many corner clips, but the one that I'm going to show you, it shows me pushing out pretty aggressively. On corners, I don't like to be, what's the word? Frantic, impulsive. I generally like to be a little bit off my auto position by manually using my left stick and moving a bit ahead of it. And then when the corner is being swung in, that's when I hold my L1. And I think that way, if there's a cross that's pretty close to you, even roughly the middle of the box, you know, in the crowd of players area, you have a good chance of getting there, of being locked onto it. I think just a general rule of thumb for anyone to follow, always keep an eye on the opposition players, where they're moving, take special note of tall players or a group of opposition players, and if you're really confident, you can move just a little bit more closer to that too. And that'll give you an indication of where they're gonna cross. I think I'm gonna end it there. This is only part 1. I'm gonna do a lot more parts of this. We've literally just scraped the surface of goalkeeping questions. There's so many out there. Part 2 will be coming out soon, but in the meantime, I'll be in my Discord server. If you have any questions or you wanna upload any of your clips, feel free to join. I'll put the link below. Anywho, I've gotta check on Jimbo. That guy's a psycho.